my website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hello, I was just having fun here with a little quick jam track of my own. I just wanted to quickly answer a question about what fingering to use when you move from the cage shape philosophy, where you have basically 1 finger per fret, right? You have 5 shapes in the major scale, 5 shapes in the pentatonic scale, and you can basically assign 1 finger per fret and then just keep that fingering going. You might want to, change position, so you always have the first finger as the first note on each and every string. That's the way I've been playing cage shape. You can say that, sometimes you go up 1 fret when you go to a new string, and you could choose to use, like you would in classical music, you would use the 2nd finger because that's the fret it's supposed to play right there. So you go. Right, so if you have a major shape like a C major and you play the highest 3 strings, you would go 7, 9, 10 on the G string. Then you would go 8 and 10 on the B, and then 7, 8 and 10 on the high E string. And you would use the 2nd finger for that jump there on the B string. 2nd and 4th. But I've never done that because I liked phrasing a lot, and it just felt like I lost control. I lost the power I have in the 1st finger position there. I can do the other thing because I practiced it in the beginning, so. Right? But, I recommend that you keep your 1st finger as the first note, most often anyway. But what do you do when you get to the 3 note per string shapes and you have 2 whole tone intervals on the same string? So you got like 7, 9, and 11. Now let's just move that up so we stay in C major. So you got 8, 10, and 12 on the high E string. Now you have a choice here because you can either use the 2nd finger or you can use the 3rd finger for that middle note. But since this little stretch here isn't the end all and be all, and you can go even further. So if, for instance, you can have a minor 3rd between each note on 1 string. That would be a diminished arpeggio, right? And if you go that far, it's really obvious what finger to use, in my perspective, in my hand anyway. And it's the 1st, the 2nd. So I use the first 2 fingers for that 1st stretch, and then the 4th. And I leave the 3rd finger alone there. It just seems a lot easier once you start using it, because the 1st and 2nd finger work really well together. And it's even like the 4th finger becomes stronger by using the 2nd instead of the 3rd, because the combination between the 3rd and the 4th is the weakest one. Just try placing your fingers on each fret, so you have the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. All right? And then you try to play. Put your 1st finger on, play in between the 1st and 2nd. That's pretty easy. Take the 2nd now and the 3rd and go. All right? And then take the 3rd and the 4th. And I've been practicing this a lot, so this is not as awkward for me as it used to be. But it's really or if you do hammer-ons and pull-offs, try doing that between the 3rd and the 4th. So that connection isn't the strongest. And you want to focus on your strength. Get the results faster. Unless it hurts you in another area of guitar playing. But so the answer is here. I use my 1st, my 2nd, and my 4th for 2 whole tones on 1 string. And my 2nd, my 1st, and my 4th for those minor 3rds. So it's really, the 2nd is. But if I use, for instance, if I play a minor 3rd first on 1 string, so we have the 8th and the 11th, and I then do a whole tone, which would be the case in a 3 note per string blues scale shape, or a 3-1-3 pentatonic shape. I use my 1st, my 3rd, because that's comfortable, and then my 4th finger. So I kind of, because it's easier to reach for that fret, with the third finger, when I'm not stretching also with my fourth, then I just go for first, third for the minor third interval, and then the fourth for that whole tone interval there. So if I were to play a 3-upper string blues scale shape, it would be from down here, 5th fret, 8th and 10th in the case of A blues, from the root note. So I'd do first, a third, and fourth, right? And then the next string would be like a semitone. I would do that with the first and the second, of course, and then I would reach for the 10th fret, 6, 7, and 10 with my fourth finger. And then again, first, third, and fourth, same interval, right? Because it's just octave. Alright? And for the two whole tones in any diatonic shape, minor, major scale, same thing. I use the first, the second, and the fourth. I'm not saying this is correct or this is right. There's no such thing. There's only effective or not effective. Those are really things we can look at. But correct is somebody, somebody made that up. And we use that in classical music a lot, right? A tradition developed over hundreds of years. But in rock and blues and everything else, jazz, it isn't really, just stop it, right? Just figure out what works the best for you and then use that. Right? And you just got what I think is the most effective. And if you look just a little bit like me, which you probably do, I think you'll find that this way of fingering the notes is really, the easiest and most effective way. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.